I mean, it's been a year since my nose surgery and it's still so hard to breathe. And we think that we're gonna need, the doctor said I'm gonna need a revision because there's obstructions in both nostrils now. So if I am gasping for air during this, we're making that noise all the time, that's why. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're finally, I've been wanting to do a moissanite video. So that's my engagement ring. My engagement ring is moissanite. For so long, going between engagement options. Do we get a diamond? Do we get a moissanite? We didn't know anybody that had a moissanite. And I just want to share my experience, why we chose it, how I've been liking it so far, so that you guys can feel like you know somebody who has one and help you make a better decision if you need an engagement ring. Or I think they sell all sorts of stuff in moissanite, so not even an engagement ring, but just instead of getting a diamond, getting a moissanite. I opened up a question box on Instagram and allowed you guys kind of ask whatever you had. So I wrote down all the questions. I wrote down all of our answers. I'm just gonna go through it one by one. So the first one I'm gonna start with, obviously, is what is a moissanite and how is it different from a diamond? These are my notes. I do need my notes because I'll forget if I don't have them. Tilt that down. I still don't have my camera stand. It's still at my mama's house. Just gonna make this work. So a moissanite is a gem that's like, they call it like the gem of the stars. So a scientist in 1893, a French scientist, is the one who discovered moissanite. He discovered moissanite, the naturally occurring gem, and then after a while they discovered how to make it identical in labs. So the moissanite that we buy at the stores today aren't like natural, they are lab made. Just the same way you would get a lab made diamond. So when that scientist discovered them, he thought that they were diamonds. After further discovery, he found out they're not diamonds, they are gems, and they're made out of composed of silicon carbide. I don't know what that is, and I don't totally care because for me that's just like besides the point. So natural moissanite is pretty rare. It's lab created, and that's the one that you buy. So I have a lab created moissanite. That's the same way you often buy a lab created diamond. I don't think it's so common for that many people to buy natural diamonds. They're really expensive, so I don't know if it's like, I don't think it's that common. I think typically people are buying lab made diamonds, lab made moissanite. If you have the big bucks, then maybe you're getting a natural diamond. Moissanite is referred to as a diamond stimulant. It is engineered to like look like a diamond. Quality and the differences in quality, there is slight differences. So on the Mohs scale, I think the Mohs scale is how easily scratched it is or how hard it is or something like that. The moissanite on the Mohs scale is a 9.25 and a diamond is a 10. Nothing can scratch a diamond but another diamond, but a moissanite is really similar. Nothing can scratch a moissanite but another diamond, or I think maybe moissanite can scratch moissanite, but nothing else can technically scratch it. Even though there's a 0.75 difference there, they're still pretty head and head with how they uphold in kind of the real world. And a moissanite is the second hardest gem out there. So diamonds first, moissanite second, and then all the other gems that we've heard of before come after. They also have a slight difference in brilliance. So moissanite has this thing that they call kind of like the disco effect. So in sunlight, you might see like little rainbows reflecting off of it. I don't notice this a ton on mine at all. They say like the bigger the gem, the more you can see it, whereas a diamond doesn't necessarily have this at all. I've compared my ring side by side with like my family, like other women in the family who have a diamond, and I really do not see a difference in this at all. But technically there is and there can be one. So this one, my moissanite, can reflect more color, and I guess I a little bit see it like reflecting a little bit of blue maybe, but it's just like so subtle you can't even tell. It really does look, feel, act as a diamond. But if you are like a jewelry person or you're really in tune with all that stuff or it really bothers you, then maybe that, I would think, maybe one of the only reasons you would go diamond over moissanite. It's barely, hardly noticeable, the difference in brilliance. If I'm being 100% honest, when I put mine next to a diamond, I actually like mine more because I do feel like that subtle reflectiveness that it has, whether it's reflecting like a little bit of the rainbow or a little bit of color, I think it just comes off as brighter and less dull than a diamond. So if I look at someone's engagement ring that's like 2 years old and I look at mine that's almost like 1.5 years old, I do feel like mine still shines a little brighter even though it's not clean, you know? And it's just the same way their diamond isn't clean. I feel like mine like shines a little brighter. I don't know. Who cares? It doesn't matter. I want to show you that it's not worse. Both a moissanite and a diamond are technically considered colorless, but I do think a moissanite, they said like online, like a little more color can come through, but it's technically considered colorless. Sourcing, environmentally, friendliness, and like ethics of it all, moissanite is lab made, so tends to be like more ethically sourced, and there's not a lot of anything bad going on in terms of labor or putting people in danger to go mine diamonds, because it's lab made, so you're making in a lab, so we avoid that. A lab-made diamond also avoids that though. It can still be ethically sourced. Whereas a natural diamond, that's gonna have a little bit, we're not so sure. Like the sourcing is environmentally maybe not as friendly, and people can get really hurt mining diamonds. I haven't really done a ton of research on that, but I do think natural made diamonds is a lot of like controversy around the ethicalness of that. Now, pricing. I do think pricing is the biggest significant difference. I think this is what will really sway someone's opinion. The pricing is dramatically different between a moissanite and a diamond. Like even a lab made diamond, dramatically different. Natural diamonds, just like they're not in our budget. I don't care to have my diamond sourced from the mines, from someone risking their life to go get it. So that was just out of the question. Lab made diamonds versus moissanite. There's still a dramatic price difference. So a 2-carat moissanite ring, or the equivalent of like a 2-carat moissanite, which is what I have. So you don't really measure moissanite in carats, you measure diamonds in carats, but this is the equivalent in size of a 2-carat diamond. We got it for around, I think, $1,300 after a discount. So there was a promotion being run on the website. So for reference, we know somebody that got married around the same time. They got a lab made diamond that was slightly smaller than this one from a normal jewelry store in the mall and paid around $5,000. Same style, slightly smaller. So $1,300 versus $5,000 just for it to be a diamond versus a moissanite, even though they're relatively the same in quality. And again, to each his own. I mean, some people just don't feel comfortable having never seen a moissanite in real life and having never known anyone that got a moissanite. So that I totally understand, just not wanting to take the risk on an engagement ring, because either way, you're still spending $1,300 as a risk on a moissanite. I don't think it's a risk now at this point, but I understand why someone would make that decision. So not to judge anyone that gets a diamond, but just for you to put that into perspective. It was smaller and it was, I mean, what, quadruple the price? Just crazy. That's okay. But yeah, $1,300-ish for ours, and it was custom made. We added a couple different things. $1,300 was the total. Over $5,000 easily. I mean, over $6,000 easily. Over $7,000 easily for the same size in a diamond. David did all of this research. Like, I did not do it. I'm doing research after the fact just for this video. I went to him and asked him a lot of questions. So he ended up getting the ring from a website called moissaniteco.com, and they gave, after he bought this one, and he said that they run promotions on their website all the time, and if they're not running a promotion on their website, wait until they are, because they do it really, really frequently. So he got my engagement ring while they were running a promotion, and then he got like a returning customer discount or store credit or something as like a gift for the first purchase, and then he ended up getting my wedding band from that website as well and saved another couple $100 on my wedding band. So my wedding band was originally $535 and he got it for $360. Wedding band, $360. I think it's cute. I don't know if I have any professional photos of this, but if I do, I'll find them and put them here. This is, sorry, my engagement ring. It's a little dirty. I could definitely clean it. Yeah, I think it still shines bright for a dirty ring. So altogether, $1,660 for both, and I think, yeah, getting this from a normal jewelry store as lab made diamonds would have easily been closer to like $8,000 easily. So this moves me into like, where did we shop? And like I said, we shopped on moissaniteco.com. There are a couple other renowned moissanite websites. I did ask him like how he picked this one, why he chose this one. He said they just had overall good reviews. I really liked the crushed ice style of the stone, and they have great quality crushed ice. So our process for picking out the ring, David was a little bit hesitant at first to go ring shopping together because he thought it was supposed to be a surprise. I'm very much along the mindset of, I want to know what I'm getting. This is my engagement ring. So we did go shopping together in the mall at one point. It wasn't moissanite, just trying on diamond rings, just to get a feel for the style that I liked, what my ring size was, shapes and sizes and all that stuff. So we found out that by doing that, my ring size was a 6.5. I liked the oval style. I liked a gold band, and that was pretty much it. Oh, I liked the 2-carat-ish size. David made PowerPoints and helped with like a process of elimination of different styles, different settings, different shapes, and he would just like ask, do you like this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and then narrowed it down to what he thought was like the final thing of what I was looking for, which he knew it was what I was looking for, because at that point we were very clear on that, and I was very clear on that. But still, it was just helpful, I think, to have that process. He did a lot of research on that. I mean, he went through, like, it was PowerPoints of images, and I had to go through and kind of pick like A or B, B, okay, B or C, C, and like it was like that the whole time. even though I was like, I just want an opal with a gold band. I got to choose whether or not I wanted a hidden halo. So that's these like tiny diamonds around the edges. That is actually not allowed to be moissanite because I don't think they make moissanite that tiny. So that's diamond, lab made diamonds. The hidden halo, I didn't have a huge preference on. So David actually surprised me with whether I had one or didn't. And of course he added it. Going to the mall, trying things on, going through those PowerPoints, all that stuff, that helped me remove the anxiety of feeling like I don't know what I'm getting when I get a moissanite. It was like, okay, I know the exact shape, the exact size, the exact colors that I like. So I was like, no matter what, like the quality of the gem or the this or the that, I was like, at least I know I'm gonna like for sure the way it looks. And according to what I've read online and what we've done our research on and feel really sure about, the quality is going to live up and it is going to match up, and that's just science. Like, that's not an opinion, that's just a fact, right? And your preference on whether you choose a diamond or a moissanite, that's your preference. But and that's fine. But as far as fact goes, their quality is there. Some of like the smaller things that we did, so David went with a custom ring, and he changed, so the standard band thickness is 1.8 and he increased that to a 2 because just for safety, he didn't want anything to break or anything to wobble. I don't think it would have broken or wobbled, but he just increased that for safety. So that was one of the custom things. I think adding the hidden halo was a custom thing. I didn't want to have a 6.5 sized ring, like the size of my finger is technically a 6.5. I went through a whole period where I struggled really hard with body image issues. It's better and better every day, and it's so much better. But when I was getting my ring, I was like, you know what? I don't want a 6.5. It felt a little bit too close for comfort for me. And the last thing I wanted was the one thing that I wear every single day to feel snug or tight or like make me feel like I had chubby or fat fingers. So I begged for a slight size up. So instead of getting a 6.5, I think we did a 6.75. And I'm still really happy with that choice. You'll notice that like it moves a little bit more than other people's. Like other people's are really snug and tight on there. Mine moves a little bit more, like it comes on and off pretty easy. Technically, I'm sure I could have gone for like that 6.5, but it just makes me feel safer and more confident and like less thinking about it the way that it is. It always feels better if something like there's a little room on something than no room at all, right? So that was just like a safety thing for me mentally. I begged and I begged and I begged and I begged and I begged. That was the only thing I really cared about. Diamond, moissanite, whatever. Pick the cheaper one. That though, I cared. Overall, I was comfortable with the decision because I felt like I tried on so many different things. We read so much about it. I knew David was doing so much research. I mean, for weeks there, it was like all he could talk about. So I was like, okay, he's not going to skimp for fun, right? And it's not skimping. It's just, I think just more in line with our values, honestly, at the end of the day. I've always been very financially conscious and very financially aware, and for my values at the end of the day, this was just the better choice. So I did feel comfortable there. Also, I would be lying if I said I was the most careful person with my jewelry that I've had in the past. I'm truly not. I bang things up. I lose an earring or I lose a necklace. Even the things that I love the most, I feel like I'm just like freak stuff will happen. I mean, I had these bracelets that I used to wear every single day that I took so much care of. I loved them and I have no idea where they went. It's like they disappeared into thin air. And I wore them every single day all the time. So getting a diamond felt so risky for knowing myself and knowing that anything can happen to anybody. I was just like, I don't know, I don't think I'm really willing to put $7,000-8,000 on a risk. You know what I mean? Anything can happen. And I'm gonna be careful with this one. Like, of course I am, and I don't wanna lose it. But if for some reason, God forbid, that happened, something crazy happened, or I lost something, or it was stolen, or whatever it is, I would just rather it happen knowing that I did my best and wasn't frivolous in my spending. Now, another reason is I did want something a little bit bigger. I tried on the smaller rings. I tried on the 1.5s. I tried on the 1s. Which would have been like 1 carat would probably have been a more comfortable price point of a real diamond that it would have felt comfortable spending. I just didn't like the smaller one. So I was like, if I want something a little bit bigger, you know, I have bigger hands for a girl, and I want my ring to live up to that, or to at least be flattering on that hand, I don't want to spend that much on anything that's worldly. It's not an experience, it's just a thing. So it's like, yeah. So the size also played a factor into what I wanted. If I wanted a small ring, maybe we wouldn't have even thought about a cheaper option or a more affordable option. I don't want to call it cheaper because it's not cheap, but a more affordable option. But I did want it something slightly bigger, and there's no harm in looking for options. Now, the biggest reason people, my mom, my mother-in-law, they were both like, are you sure you want to do that? Don't just take the cheaper option for the cheaper option. And I was like, you know, it's not about it being cheaper. There's so many other factors, but it's a value of mine to not spend frivolously. You know, I want to make sure that other expenses in life, I want to be in a comfortable home, other expenses in life that I want to put, and I want those all to be moderately priced. I don't want to overspend on any of those things. But why would my engagement ring be any different? But mostly, a better ring just doesn't make a better marriage. Better things, better stuff are just not a symbol for me for a better marriage. And I think I was so afraid putting too much out on the internet, or putting too much into a wedding, or too much into an engagement ring. I don't know, like putting that over more important than anything else. And it's just not. Like, those things, they just don't matter. They're such a small glimpse. And I didn't want my ring to be a symbol of how much David loved me, right? Like, or how much we were willing to invest in our marriage. Like, because that's just not what it is. Our ring isn't that for me. It's just, it's a symbol of our society that we do when we get married. And yeah, like, of course I was a little girl growing up wanting a ring, you know what I mean? So that's more, I feel like, why we have one, versus it being like a symbol. I didn't want it to be a symbol of any of that. So I was definitely happy going with a moissanite. I feel like the marketing behind a diamond is the reason that people buy diamonds, right? Because they say that that's the symbol of his love, or like how much he's willing to spend shows like how much he's willing to invest. I just don't believe that. And I didn't want, if I don't believe that, why would I give in to that? So the moissanite was kind of that practical balance. Like, I'm going to give into the society, the way that we do things. We get people engagement rings. I'm going to give into that. I like it. I want one. But I don't want to give into it fully. I don't want to like fully dive into that marketing. So I'm going to meet in the middle with like a more affordable option. I can get what I want. I can be happy. But I know in my heart that this is not a symbol of his love or anything, or nothing like that. If anything, it is more so a symbol of, you know, it's a foundation to how we want to start kind of our lives together and what's important to us and our values moving forward in our life together. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I think that's pretty much it. I hope this helped you if you are going between a diamond or a moissanite. I know it's a big decision. I know some people are going to have big opinions on it, guys. Like, I mean, I had people telling me like, he's not going to get you a diamond. My mother-in-law was like, don't let him go cheap on you. Like, you know, make sure this is like, don't let him do that. And I was like, yeah, he's not doing anything. Again, like a foundation for our values, I mean, I appreciated that, but our foundation, the way we want it to start. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. You know, and again, if you get a diamond and you want a diamond and that's been your dream since you were a little girl, dude, get a diamond. Who am I to tell you not to, right? This is just giving you information. If you are going between them, I didn't know anybody that had one. I wanted to know someone who had one. So I am going to be that someone that has one in your life if you need that. Okay? Lovely, lovely. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm going to, oh my gosh, so excited for the Greece videos to come. So yeah, stay tuned for all of that. This is our honeymoon. Greece is gonna be our honeymoon almost a year later, 9-10 months later. So yeah, we're excited. We don't do 2-week vacations often. It is definitely a splurge vacation that is bittersweet to budget for, but I'm so excited. I just can't wait to enjoy. So yeah, like and subscribe. Stay tuned for all of that. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.